Aloha! What's up, everybody? It's good to see you again. I'm JayDreamerZ, and welcome to another episode of Omens. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of crazy stuff's been happening around the world lately. If you're a regular here on my channel, you should know that I've been in and out of the hospital lately, just because I've been having dizzy spells and vertigo and stuff. So that's why I haven't been online for a minute. And I thank you guys for all of your support, and a huge shout out to my brother, Straight Jacket White Rabbit. He celebrated his birthday on the 10th, so happy birthday, little brother. Now, we're going to start off by talking about one of the most talked about things that's going around in social media circles and the news, which is social media itself being banned in Australia. If you're under 16 years old, then you can't use Facebook, you can't use Snapchat, you can't use TikTok, you can't use any of these, except for maybe, I think YouTube found a way out. That's the YouTube icon jumping over towards New Zealand or something. But yeah, they banned you guys over in Australia. Now, personally, I will say that the omens for me are indicative of things getting worse and worse and worse. Although this is I mean, I don't know how to personally feel about this, but it's connected to another news story that I'm going to share with you guys in a bit, about social media and about the United States, and how all of these things, all of these laws and countries and politicians are doing things that seem on the surface like they're for your benefit or for my benefit, or us collectively, or for the whole world, right? It seems like a righteous thing is to keep the children away from the social media so that they're not influenced, they can be themselves genuinely. But it raises, I mean, it raises a red flag. It raises a red flag of suspicion for me personally, because one, Australia's political parties, okay, from my perspective, don't seem to be known for, you know, having your best interest at heart, okay? Which sucks, because I vibe with Australia. Australia seems like they got good energy as far as the people go and as far as the land goes, but as far as the politics and the lawmakers and stuff goes, I've not heard anything positive out of Australia. So I would be on the lookout if I was you, because one of the omens of the apocalypse is totalitarian control as we move into a complete acknowledged dystopian society the world across. Okay, I mean, acknowledged. I believe we already live in a dystopian world, and that it's already a one world government, and it's already all of the things that we hope it won't become. We're just in the beginning portions of it, but it's very quickly it's quickening its grasp on everyone. Can you guys hear me okay in the chat, in the live? If you're watching live, let me know if you can hear me okay. Anyways, keep an eye out on this, and this is, like I said, this is related to how the governments of the world, your politicians, your rule makers, kings, queens, presidents, etc., are going to tighten their grip on you, starting with things that seem admirable, possibly. Okay, so I'm very suspicious of this. Although I'm in support of anybody, you know, keeping their kids off of social media and stuff. This is the government doing this, okay? Woundsocket, hey, thank you so much, Woundsocket. Hey, thank you so much. He says, has anyone else noticed that the moon is waning in the wrong direction? Here's what I've noticed. I've noticed that the sun set at 4:30 p.m. today in Colorado, and that at 2:30 it was already looking like it was going down in the sky. And I understand naysayers are going to say, oh, well, it's winter and it's the shortest time of the year or whatever. No, man, the sun and the moon are acting real weird and real strange. It's easier to spot if you're an older person and you can remember, you know, the way the sky looked and how the luminaries acted back in the good old days. All right, next up, mysterious blue flashes have been seen moments before Japan's 7.6 quake. And it stuns residents. Blue flashes in the sky. What could it be? Mysterious blue flashes. No one knows. The U.S. Geological Survey describes these lights as sheet lightning, balls of light, streamers, or a steady glow that have been documented during seismic events. Here they are. Here's a picture of them. Mysterious blue sheets of light in the sky. If this was the North Pole, they would just say these are the Aurora Borealis. These are auroras. These are the glowing of the sky because it's plasma. And there would be no mystery to it. But it's happening over Japan, so everyone's wondering what the mystery is, right? So let's skip all the boring stuff and check out this video. So that was a video, an amateur video. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Yeah, I think you can, right? Yeah. Seems like it's pretty loud, actually. So let's talk about what this is, all right? I'll tell you exactly what it is. There is no mystery to it for me personally because I study plasma and I study its role in these apocalyptic cycles and how it appears as an omen of the apocalypse. Where does this come from? Well, there was a huge earthquake, right? This is simply inner Earth gases that are being released. Those gases inside of the Earth, they're held inside of the Earth. They don't just freely come up whenever they want to. They're held down by the same thing that pressurizes the gases above us, which is a magnetic shield. The Earth creates a force field, a magnetic field that the gases are repelled by. So they're actually, the inner Earth is pressurized just as our atmosphere above is pressurized, which gives us weather, which means they have weather down there in the hollow Earth. But whenever the Earth goes through magnetic fluctuations, which means little doors open in that magnetic field, in that force field, then gases are allowed to escape, and they escape in mass sometimes, depending on how long the magnetic flux lasts for and how large it is, how big of a door is being opened in the magnetic shield below us, and how long that door stays open for. When it's a large door, or it stays open for a long time, all of those gases are going to rush up through the different veins of the Earth, the cavernous systems. And many of those veins of the Earth are connected to other major veins in the Earth, which is why if you have something happening here in Japan, you will see similar things happen in Southern California. Or there's other tunnel systems down inside of the Earth that if you go down far enough, they connect to one another. So this is gas that's being released from inside of the Earth, and it rushes up. And when it rushes up fast enough, it ionizes and it goes up into the sky and it starts to ionize the area around it. You can tell exactly what kind of gas it is by looking at the color of it, which I haven't done for this particular gas here, but you can do that if you want to. You can look right at the color of it, and you can pull up the most likely suspects based on the color spectrum, right? So this is what these are. Earthquake lights are plasma. They are gases that are being released as the inner Earth goes through magnetic fluctuations. The more magnetic fluctuations we have, the stronger the magnetic flux that we have, which is also being documented. Okay, they're talking about all these magnetic anomalies inside of the Earth right now, which we've gone over time and time again. The more of those we have, the larger the earthquakes we're going to get in more places, and the stronger that they'll be. So keep an eye on this. I wouldn't be surprised to see, a reciprocal action on the west coast of the United States somewhere, because that seems to be where these two places connect inside of the Earth. Next up, Japan issues an advisory for a possible megaquake following the 7.5 magnitude earthquake that they just had. Listen, I want to share something with you, okay? I love to be lighthearted. I love to joke and laugh and smile and, kind of grill academics and stuff and have fun with it. But I'm dead serious when I'm telling you this segment should not be taken lightly. For those of you who are apocalyptimists, those of you who are eschatologists, for anyone that believes that there is actually a cyclical cataclysm, that there are cyclical cataclysms that happen to our world in mass, cyclically from time to time, don't take this stuff lightly. It's not just interesting. It's not like going to a movie where you're captivated for an hour or two, and then you go home and you start to forget all about it, or you wake up from a vivid dream, but it starts to dissipate. Keep these things in mind, at the forefront of your mind, because this information, your studies and your research, ultimately will be your tools that are at your disposal to help you when the time comes, even if it's just to feel more calm because you understand what's going on. Anyways, my point is 7.5 is nothing compared to what's on the way. What's coming is off of the Richter scale. What's coming is off of the charts. The day will come, as I said, when the world's magnetic force, that force field, when it disappears entirely, all of the inner Earth gas everywhere is going to rush up at the same time. All of the volcanoes will erupt at the same time. All of the earthquakes will go off across the world at the same time. All of the surface will shake and the waters will rise and the surface will become liquid and muddy and full of muck and debris and quicksand and stuff, all at the same time. So, if you can study these little tiny omens, like I said, you can be better prepared for when the time comes that you need to really survive the big one, okay? And I'm not talking about the San Andreas Fault as the big one. I'm talking about the entire Earth shaking to and fro as the big one. Japan earthquake sparks unfounded fears. Unfounded fears. Those are unfounded. Your fears are unfounded. They crack me up the way they talk about stuff. About Cascadia's big one. Yeah, all of the elite of the world who run these little news organizations and stuff, they're building underground bunkers for doomsday for them and their families. They are building rockets to blast off and buy a ticket to heaven to leave Earth when the sky opens. They're telling you your fears are unfounded about some large-scale earthquake event that's going to happen someday. Those are unfounded fears. It's fine. It's going to be millions and millions of years before anything bad happens, and even then, we'll probably push it back a few more million years. They're starting to blame a lot of this stuff on the sun, which they like to color a beautiful orange because people remember it being this color. However, it's not. It's blindingly white, which is another omen of the apocalypse, and it's turning blue, which is the final omen of solar activity when it comes to this apocalyptic cycle that we're in now, because the sun is going to turn blue and it's going to burn the surface of the world. And you're all going to have to go underground. If you don't, you're going to burn up and not make it. I'm trying to be careful about my language. Not for your sake. Okay, I would use stronger language for your sake, but it's for YouTube's sake. You know what I mean? Anyway, oh yeah, they want to blame the sun, right? Every time that there's a sunspot, then they cause it. They're like, it's a solar storm. No, it's a geomagnetic storm. No, it's a solar storm and a geomagnetic storm. Listen, every storm on Earth is a geostorm. The Earth produces storms. The Earth produces the sun. Depending on what your perspective is, okay? I have an ancient cosmology. I don't think the sun is outside of the dome, far, far away or whatever. It's local. It's nearby, comparatively speaking, okay? Anyways, yeah, these are the things that's happening in the Earth right now are caused by the Earth. These are Earth changes that we're going through. Now, it has nothing to do with this sun. Now, it says, do this week's strong geomagnetic storm and earthquake in Japan mean that the big one is nigh, which is a biblical way of saying near? Yes, it sure the fudge does. It definitely does. The big one, as in the plasma apocalypse, is near. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I can't give you a date. I can't give you a time. I can tell you it seems like Mother Earth is getting ready to give birth based on the signs that she's putting out there. That's what some influencers on TikTok believe. That's what way more than just influencers on TikTok. This is called minimizing something, okay? When you're trying to make it sound like it's just some wackos influencers on TikTok and people associate that with, you know, stupid Tide Pod challenges and stuff like that, then you're really not doing it justice, okay? That's what most people on Earth across time have believed. That the apocalypse is nigh, and the apocalypse has already happened many times before. All of those biblical, since they want to use the biblical word nigh instead of near, right? All of those biblical prophets of old went to warn people in their own modern time that the apocalypse was coming, that the day of the Lord was about to happen. And then you would read as it did happen. And people were wiped out and decimated and turned into stone and rock and blown up and electrocuted and all kinds of chaos. Okay? So it's not just what some influencers on TikTok believe. This is what righteous men of the Lord, of God, of whatever religion you choose. It doesn't have to just be Christianity. It doesn't have to be limited to the Bible. It's every single one of them, because they are all connected. They all discuss these events that I'm trying, that I'm screaming from the rooftops about. What else? One influencer posted a video that subsequently generated 13,000 likes and a flurry of comments claiming that a solar flare from Tuesday's geomatic storm caused a non-tectonic earthquake in Japan and that Cascadia is next. Listen, they're all going to start triggering. They're going to get worse and worse, stronger, more frequent. Okay? This has been predicted. This has been prophesied. This has happened. It's not just prediction. It's not just prophecy. It's not just some intuitive belief that I personally have. It's historic record across time. These are the events that happen every single time before the world is reset and renewed. This is interesting. Arizona cops are now using AI to generate mugshots to sketch crime suspects. Do I look like that dude? If I had a goatee? I don't know. Anyways, they're using AI. The AI is now going to tell you who the suspects are and what they look like. And they do all, it's funny because AI also gleans from the entire internet, and it will come up with suspects, right? Instead of humans doing the detective work, AI will just be like, well, let's look at all of the, let's look at our, let's contrast and compare on our supercomputers where we have dossiers on everyone on Earth underground. And let's not just go by the description of what alleged witnesses saw. Let me also pull up everyone's social media history and where they were not and what they were doing and who is a potential threat and who's not a potential threat and who's a patriot. And you know what I mean? This is exactly what your dystopian movies are like all about. Right? What's that one? What's that one where they had pre-crime? Right? They had these like psychic people hooked up to a computer and they could tell you who was going to commit the crimes before they actually committed the crimes. We're not too far away. Okay, we're not too far away. Let's see. Well, that's super interesting to me that they're using AI to make mugshots to come up with suspects for actual crimes. Have at it, AI. This article says goodbye to 24-hour days. See you later, 24-hour days. Just as has been prophesied across religions, okay, that the days would get shorter. Time is flying past. I've had so many naysayers. I mean, I don't really care. It's just I can see it as actual form of validation. When I talk about time speeding up, and there's people out there like, it's not actually speeding up. It just feels like it's speeding up because you're just getting older and technology's, easier to use and you're distracted more often. And then there was the pandemic and then there's this and that. Okay, whatever you say, time's speeding up. That's my reality. That's not just me, though. I got a whole army of people who are, not deluded by what they're fed and force fed from the news corporations that can acknowledge the obvious. Time is speeding up. And they're telling you, they themselves are telling you, okay, they're disclosing it. NASA and the Institute of Geophysics warn that the Earth's rotation is speeding up. They're warning. That is not informing. It is not even disclosure. They are straight up warning you that the Earth's rotation, which is how academics accounts for time and the Luminaries movements, right, is speeding up. Geophysics warn that the Earth's rotation is speeding up and redefining how we measure time. How we measure time has always been by the luminaries, the lights that are up above us. Stars, comets, frickin' the sun, the moon, the planets. Those are all lights. They're not rocks. They're not objects. They're not, they're not what they say they are. They are lights in the sky. Some are projections. Some are points of focus. Either way, when they speed up, we have to adjust our timekeeping methods. We have to go by them. That's the clock. That's our clock. And that's exactly what they were created for, according to the old stories. Okay? So now they're going to tell you, they're going to start telling you, oh yeah, it's just the Earth is starting to speed up. Watch this. It's not, they're going to take it a step further in subsequent articles I'm about to cover. Okay? They're not just going to say time is speeding up. They're about to tell you that the sun's position is going to change as well. They're starting to warn you about that. But anyway, yeah, they're saying that the Earth's rotation is speeding up. Remember when we covered this before and they said it's because of dams? Mankind has built too many dams and it's holding back too much water on making the Earth lopsided and therefore it's speeding up. That's incredible. It's incredible. And people will buy that. They'll believe it. They'll believe anything you tell them, okay? You tell them that we landed on the moon, boom, we landed on the moon. You tell them we're going to land on Mars, boom, we're going to land on Mars. You tell them anything, man, they'll believe it. I don't. I study the old ways. Anyways, let's move on. All right, I got a video to share with you guys. This is kind of interesting. The U.S. plans to require foreign tourists from dozens of countries to disclose their social media history going back 5 years. So to come here to America, now this is related to what's happening in Australia. Remember, they can't even have social media unless they're 16 years old or older, right? And now you're going to need 5 years worth of social media history to kind of prove not just that you're a human and you're a real person or whatever, but that you have a life that's acceptable. A life that is acceptable. Here, let me read it to you. It says, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has instructed officials to investigate the social media history of several classes of immigrants, including for views, what you're watching, what are you interested in, and activities deemed to be anti-American. Wow. Who decides, right? This was allegedly the land of the free. America was all about being you, whatever that looks like, right? That's bullcrap, man. That's all bullcrap. The walls, okay, of all the countries are coming up, but they're not physical walls. You better watch out. So if your views of what you're watching, they consider to be anti-American, and your activities, that they're just gonna look at your social media to see what you're up to, right? What are you about? What are you posting, right? Are you gonna be a patriot? Are you gonna support whatever the United States, us, the U.S., whatever they say? Might not even let you in. They might only let in their little cookie cutter, citizens or whatever. That's interesting. Let's see what this guy says.
Good morning, Mugo. Citizens of more than 40 countries enrolled in the visa waiver program can typically come here to the U.S. for up to 90 days for tourism or business travel. That list of countries includes many European nations and U.S. allies like Australia, Japan, and New Zealand. And while their citizens typically do not need visas to travel to the U.S., they still need to submit an application online using a system known as ESTA before entering the country. The Trump administration, Mugo, is now proposing to overhaul that system, mainly to require applicants from these countries to share additional information. That includes, as you noted, their social media history for the past 5 years, also emails that they have used for the past 10 years, and the personal information of direct family members, including their phone numbers. The Trump administration, Mugo, says the changes are designed to comply with an executive order that the president says will make it easier for the U.S. to deny entry to people who may pose.
Make it easier to control people, okay? This is 1984. As I've said many times, this is not the year 2025. This is the year 1984. So will be next year. So will be the year after that. Welcome to dystopia. Next up, ticket to Mars. Scientists, whoever they are, say that the time has arrived to land astronauts on Mars. Damn, finally. It's about time, man. I've been wondering, as I've been going about my loops of my daily life, I've been really frustrated that we haven't landed on Mars yet. It says here, the first human landing on Mars will be the most significant moment for human space exploration since we first set foot on the moon over 50 years ago. And never since. They should probably put that part. They should probably add that. And never since, ever, despite our advancements in technology. Right? We're going to Mars! Screw the moon! The moon's old. And nobody wants to go to the moon. There's nothing to do except play golf on the moon. Why do that when you can build an oil rig on Mars or whatever they're doing in this picture? The goal of sending astronauts to the surface of Mars has been a major point of contention. Yeah, because you can't do it. There is no such place as Mars. Mars is a light in the sky. It's a luminary. Major points of contention with the likes of SpaceX, blah, 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 arguing that we should skip the moon entirely. Fudge the moon. The moon's for boomers, man. This is Generation Alpha. We want to go to Mars. That'll be a show, won't it? Everyone's going to tune in. Just the moon's like off crying in the corner. No attention at all. In favor of the red planet. Despite NASA already being deeply invested in returning astronauts to the lunar surface for the first time in over half a century. It might as well say for the first time ever, except for like that, the quick little bink, like, oh, we landed on the moon, yay, like the India guy, yay, we landed on the moon, yay, waving his little flag. Yeah, bro, you ain't going to the moon, you ain't leaving the firmament, okay? When they talk about landing on the moon, they're trying to go up to the firmament to explore the firmament. When they talk about going to Mars, that's code for preparations for when this world turns into a dusty red world, which is what it's going to look like after the apocalypse. Sorry about that. That's my little notification sound. Let me turn off my notifications here. All right, boom. So yeah, when they talk about Mars, that's code for the post-apocalyptic world. They're preparing. They're doomsday preppers, okay? When they talk about going to the moon, they're talking about exploring the firmament and researching the firmament and stuff, because the moon itself, the luminary, the light, is a projection of a portion of the firmament, which I call the apex dome, okay? Next up, hold on, let me check on the chat. What if there's a problem? What if I need... What's up, everybody? Oh, man, the chat's flying. Okay, everybody's good. I got Infinite, who says, @J, so the moon will be blue. Yes, it will. Yeah, the moon's going to turn blue during this cycle. That's where the whole once-in-a-blue moon thing comes from. When the sun turns blue, the moon will also turn blue. All right. And is right now if you're paying attention. Like, go out and look at Moonlight. Moonlight's blue already. Where were we? Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are in the news a lot lately. Why? You know what I mean? Who cares? I mean, even if the story is true about dinosaurs, who cares? You're finding some skeletons or whatever. Yeah, great. Good job. Dinosaurs existed. Sweet. Well, 92 feet though. It's another one. Who cares? So what? If it's established that dinosaurs, I don't even believe that there is a such thing as quote unquote dinosaurs. I believe in gigantism. All right, which is this is what the omen is. What happened once, which caused gigantic growth in reptiles and bugs and all kinds of disgusting things, it's going to happen again. Okay, which is why, if you're interested in not living in a hellish post-apocalyptic world, you might want to get my second book called Return to Hyperborea. It's available on my website. Yay, I plugged myself. Yay. All right, anyways. Or like Richie from Boston says, or don't. You know? Or don't. Who cares? But yeah. Gigantism is going to return to this world. Insects are going to grow to ridiculous sizes. Many creatures that are already gigantic in the hollow earth right now, they're going to rise up and they're going to come to the surface, including humanoids. Different types of humanoids as well. You're used to hearing them being referenced as Gog and Magog, but there will be giant humans that will rise up, as well as insects, freaking lizards, and all kinds of stuff. So the lizard people and all that stuff has truth to it. All right. So, will it be little stubby-armed dinosaurs like that Jurassic Park style? Nah. There'll be giant birds that you'll call raptors or whatever. Like an ostrich. Imagine like an ostrich that's like 20 feet tall. You know what I mean? Or however big they are. Those are dinosaurs, okay? They're real actual animals and insects and sea creatures and all kinds of stuff that are going through gigantism. And there's other ones from above that will come into this world too that'll be altogether alien and more white in color. I call those phantazoids. I'm getting a little too excited. I gotta be calm, man. Like I gotta just keep my heartbeat chill. All right, scientists issue warning about powerful phenomenon that could change Earth's rotation. So earlier I talked about the speed of it, right? So now there's this phenomenon that could change the rotation of Earth. So it will rotate in a different direction. If that happens, that means that you should see the sun moving in a different direction than it normally moves in, which is one of the omens of the apocalypse, is that the sun changes course, that it leaves further north or further south and it doesn't return and it doesn't come back. So this is what they're saying. Glaciers melting, Antarctica icebergs melting. Scientists issue a warning about powerful phenomenon that could change the Earth's rotation. Researchers mapped out the regions where Antarctic ice melt would be most felt, providing a clear picture of the consequences of all of this. Basically, they're letting you know ahead of time. It's disclosure. All right, let's move on. This was an interesting article to read. These police are now requiring that people trying to become police officers disclose if they're Freemasons or not. The move comes amid fears that requirement for Freemasons to protect each other could lead to corruption. Imagine that. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Listen, I'm going to tell you guys a secret, okay? Metropolitan police who want to know. You're all Freemasons. There's different, tribes or different departments of Freemasonry. They just have different names and stuff. You're all Freemasons, okay? Every single one of you. You just don't realize it. Some of you are purposefully Freemasons, and some of you are just Freemasons by default because you're working for the club, okay? We don't need you. I don't need you. We don't need police. Okay, you police yourself. That's how it's supposed to be. You protect yourself, you defend yourself, you protect your own family, your own plot of land, whatever it may be. We don't need your security. Anyways, I'm just ranting. But yeah, they must disclose whether or not they are Freemasons. Metropolitan police officers must tell their bosses if they are Freemasons. How are they going to know? How are they going to know that? No, I'm totally not a Freemason. Yeah, I heard that crazy rumor too. Yeah, I hope we don't get any of them. Yeah, we don't need any corruption. They're like winking at each other, high-fiving. Yeah, we don't need any corruption over here. The force has announced amid fears membership could be linked to corruption. No kidding. Little late for that. Okay. Jeez. Britain's largest force. This is all sounds like a Freemasonic plan, if I'm to be honest, okay? They're like, hey, let's put out a news story saying that, like, we're trying to weed out Freemasonic corruption. This is like from the top Freemasons. Yeah, just through honesty. I swear I'm not a Freemason. Britain's largest force. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's no corruption happening with Britain's law enforcement. It's like right up there with America. Britain's largest force said anyone who was a part of or had been a member of the hierarchical organization that requires members to support and protect each other must declare it. Boom, there you go, pal. Look at that. We're weeding out those Freemasons. Now they must. How are you going to make them? Well, we've said they have to. So now they have to. Is this like, are you not entertained? Come on. I'm entertained. The body representing Freemasons condemned the rule, of course, right? Hey, let's condemn it. We'll publicly condemn this. And they said that they would consider legal action. Dude, they already own the courts. They already own the nobility. You know what I mean? The issue of Freemasons and the Met has been long running. No kidding. But previous commissioners have either thought tougher rules were not justified or not worth the pain. Yeah, anyways, but you get the point of that, right? Let's move on. Will Smith is being super shady, in my personal opinion, and seems to be connected to some stuff. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I used to watch The Fresh Prince. I used to listen to Will Smith rap and stuff when I was younger. But he's in the weirdest places these days. These people tend to be like mascots for, I don't know, like look over here type mascots. I don't know. But, it's, when he slapped Chris Rock, it was so out of character of the character that they had developed. You know what I mean? For him. And then he's trying to rap again. It's just real weird. He's like an old perv rapper, rapping about girls and stuff like that. I don't know. It's super disappointing to me personally. But Will Smith pushes himself to the limit in a National Geographic's new docuseries called Pole to Pole. So now he's coming into my world, trying to talk about or go to the poles himself. The Oscar-winning actor travels across the 7 continents in a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. They also did this with The Magician, right? What was his name? David Blaine? Which was actually kind of a cool show, but, like, let me take David Blaine's word for, the world, or Will Smith, or whatever. So, here he is. I'm guessing that this is supposed to be a picture of him touching the South Pole. I'm going to tell you personally, okay? There's a dome above the Earth that is made of ice. It is connected to what you call Antarctica. The actual South Pole is the roof above the North Pole, the physical geographic North Pole, okay? So one is facing the other. The North Pole is physically in the middle at the North Pole, geographically. The South Pole is above it, right? If you keep on walking across Antarctica, you're going to keep on going until you're upside down. You're not going to fall up or whatever, just like we don't fall up. And you'll be at the South Pole. That's the South Pole. You can't get there. What's his name? Admiral Byrd tried to go, but he discovered when he kept going into into Antarctica that there's a whole freaking continent worth of ice, right? That they couldn't explore it all. Okay, so no, there's no going to the South Pole. There is no going to the North Pole. Okay, not right now at least, but there will be. Anyways, pole to pole, and he says something at the beginning here. Let me see if I can catch it about like the secrets of the world.
Answers to everything important are out there at the edges of our world.
The answers to everything important are at the edges of our world. Okay, let me tell you. Before we get into 3-Eye Atlas, there are two, the edges of the world. Okay, it's not like a flat Earth frisbee world. Okay, there is no edge where you can walk and fall off of the freaking edge. You know what I mean? How do I do that? Walk and fall off the edge. You know what I mean? It's not like that. The cosmology is a bit different. It's definitely not a spinning, wobbling, tilting space ball flying through nothing. What's up, Ann Smith? Hey, thanks for subscribing to my channel. I'm honored. Thank you. Anyways, what was my point? Oh, the edges of the world, right? The edges of the ancient world were known to be at the North Pole. There were 4 corners to the Earth, and they were all at the center. They all met at the center, forming 4 island quadrants in Hyperborea. All right, let's talk about 3-Eye Atlas. Check this out. Interstellar Comet 3-Eye Atlas caught on camera. Right? They're just candidly looking at random space, and then they caught 3-Eye Atlas. They caught it. Whatever. In a new image from the Hubble. Let's see, the Hubble Space Telescope and the JUICE Jupiter probe, whatever that is. Hubble. Let's focus on the Hubble, okay? The Hubble is known for taking pictures of objects that are allegedly light years away. How many? I asked ChatGPT. It says 13 billion frickin' light years away. That the Hubble is capable of effectively zooming in 13 billion light years. 3-Eye Atlas is how far away? Let's see. Scuba-doop-doo. Oh, 270 million kilometers. Okay. I expect way more. I don't know how to zoom in on this image, but that is not what I expect from the Hubble. I expect to be able to zoom into the actual outgassing cave systems in this alleged snowball comet. I don't expect whatever this is. This doesn't even look like a comet at all. Okay? Something's fishy about that. Oh, here we go. Who trusts the humanoid robots? The Optimuses, right? The Tesla robots. I'm sure they're all going to have your best interest at heart. They're going to make you pancakes each morning. Elon Musk claims Tesla's robots will just follow you around to stop crimes. That's interesting. Let's see what he says here. All right. So if you get an Optimus robot, he's going to follow you around and stop you from doing crime. So as long as you're not doing crime, these robots are fine, I guess. There's a billionaire that is offering to give you his company for valid proof that the Earth is flat. Once again, they're going to show you this weird version of Earth, this concept. Let's see what he says.
Here at Columbia Sportswear. Hi, I'm Tim Boyle. I'm the CEO here at Columbia Sportswear.
Arms crossed, no nonsense, with a message for flat earthers.
You guys claim there's an end to the Earth? Well, just go snap a picture.
A tongue-in-cheek challenge for the flat Earth conspiracy theorists.
This.
Just take a photo of the end of the Earth.
All right.
This?
That's actually a rental.
And you win a prize.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing, okay? But this guy wants you to go take a picture of the edge. Like I said, there is no edge, okay? If the dome is connected to Antarctica, you're going to, even if you walked all the way out to what you thought was the edge, you're going to keep on going into that other nation that Admiral Byrd described. You'll be upside down. You'll come out on the other side if you keep on going in a straight line. You'll come out in Antarctica on the other side, okay? That's because it doesn't look like this. Where's that one picture I just had? It doesn't look like, it's not a disc, okay? There is a dome over the Earth that touches Antarctica. The dome is made of ice. Antarctica is a part of where the land, because the Earth itself is actually more of a crater. Okay, I'm not going to get into the specifics at this particular juncture. You're free to have your views, but they want to put it into their concept of space. That's the problem. That's why they can't reconcile what it actually looks like and why they want to make it like a little pancake flying through space, right? They don't bother researching. They don't bother looking deeper into this. I'm sure, yeah, there's flat earthers that, that probably think this is what the Earth looks like. I'm not one of them. Come talk to me, okay? I'll tell you exactly why I don't think you can snap a picture of the edge, because there is no edge, right? Well, I mean, I think so. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know, man. This is back in the news. Obviously, they're trying to get the discussion going. He's trying to get his company in the spotlight because there was that one weirdo, that one church dude that did the final experiment, which I feel like I've already sort of debunked. I hate that word, but this dude is trying to prove, because he took JayDreamerZ and Austin Whitsitt and some other people, he took them to Antarctica. And they're like, okay, if there's a 24-hour sun, you guys can't be flat earthers anymore, okay? And they saw a 24-hour sun. So they're like, that's it. That's proof. We live on a spinning, wobbling, flying, tilting space ball, following a fireball through uncharted territory and unknown space. No, man. Look, you take those guys all the way out to Antarctica. Let's say that my mouse represents their flight, okay? They fly all the way out to the edge. But then pretty soon, if they're following the land curves upward and it starts to touch the dome, okay? They didn't even get to the dome, but they got to it's higher up in elevation. Antarctica is, okay? So when you're higher up in elevation, you have to think about, when you look at the sun, you're looking that way now. Instead of looking from the ground up, you're looking from the side view of the sun going around. So it's completely possible to see the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, or from the edge of the dome, or, the side, higher up in altitude, whatever. But yeah, so the flat Earth theory is back in the news again. Which is good for some people, because that means a lot of people are going to start investigating and catch up, catch up on the research. Columbia Sportswear dares flat earthers to find the edge of the Earth in a viral campaign. The edge. Who the fudge says there has to be an edge if the world is flat? You know what I mean? See, these people, like this guy right here, they're not actually researching. They're gleaning from pop culture. This dude is not an actual researcher into the subject. He can't wrap his mind around it. Not only that, but he's just a businessman. He's just trying to make money, just like the other guy. They're all just trying to make money. Okay, they haven't studied ancient cosmologies. They haven't done the research. They haven't even done the thought process that it takes to try to figure out how it could be possible. No. They're just taking advantage of, popular topics or whatever. Next up, snow on Mars? Oh, shoot. I just clicked on that. I didn't mean to click on that. How do you get out of there? Snow on Mars? These incredible images of the red planet are leaving scientists stunned. A mysterious winter wonderland on Mars has been revealed. How could there be snow on Mars? Oh my God. Because Mars is a luminary in the sky that does not exist as a physical rock, just like the moon, okay? The reason that there's snow on Mars is because when they show you Mars, it's really Greenland or some other wilderness on Earth that they have put a red filter over. Sometimes they actually forget to put the red filter on it and you can see blue skies on Mars. Okay? But don't buy into this garbage of, we've got helicopters on Mars and drones, and Johnny Five is out there driving around taking samples of Martian rock. Jeez. Come on. All right, what else we got? We got two more things. Atmospheric river brings floods, winds, and near record high temperatures to Chelan County. I don't even know where that is. My point here is I'm not feeling good, so I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Winds, record winds. You're going to see this a lot, okay? The wind kicking up is because of the sun getting hotter in the sky, the focal point. All right, when that gets hotter in the sky, the sun creates the jet stream, which is the largest source of wind on Earth. That plus, you know, I guess the inner Earth can also create large amounts of wind as the inner Earth depressurizes and we have zephyrs of wind. But I'm focusing on the sun. Okay, as the sun heats up and it starts to change color into a blue spectrum, then it's heating up the surrounding atmosphere, which is creating a new phenomenon that they're labeling atmospheric rivers. Okay, those didn't used to be a thing during calm times. During chaotic times, right before apocalyptic events happen, then yeah, you'll get atmospheric rivers, you'll get the jet stream acting up, you'll get the polar vortex, instead of being a nice circle, it'll turn into a starfish pattern and stuff. And of course, record high temperatures because the sun is heating up. And it is. What is this? Oh, that's right. Giant unexplained heat source is detected on the moon's far side. Scientists, whoever they are, say. So they've detected a large heat source on the other side of the moon. Well, isn't that interesting? Because the moon is a light in the sky. There is no other side to it. You only see one side of the moon because there only is one side of the moon. Because the moon, the real moon, the substance behind the projection in the sky is the apex dome. It is a bowl that hangs down from the firmament. And the other side of it is nothing. It's just a valley. Okay, that's why the real moon is hollow, because that's what it is. It's not a ball. It's a bowl that's hanging at the top of the firmament. Okay, and directly on the other side of the apex dome is plasma. That is extremely hot plasma. It's not like the nice geoplasmas that come up out of the earth. Okay, they're destructive plasmas. They are the fires of the heavens. That when the heavens open, you're going to see those fires, and you're going to realize why the other side of the moon is, you know, has this heat source, unexplained. Well, guess what? I just explained it. Might want to update your article. It's unexplained, right? Although, like, I'm probably not the only person on Earth that just explained that. They're speaking for you. They don't want you to think. They want to do the thinking for you. Scientists have made a discovery that could change how we see the moon forever. I'll change how you see the moon forever. Using advanced thermal imaging, they've detected a mysterious heat source buried beneath the surface of its far side. An anomaly that challenges everything that we thought we ever knew about our closest celestial neighbor. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's plasma. That's on the other side. That's the sleeper. That's Kali. That's the destroyer. That's the flying spaghetti monster, okay? When the sky opens up, and it will, you will see those filaments, the spaghetti. You know, you could look at it, call it whatever you want to. It could be seen as tendrils. It could be seen as spaghetti. It could be seen as dragons or worms. But that plasma is going to come down here, and it's going to reshape and destroy the surface world for the most part. It's also going to help in a creation cycle as everything renews. Sweet. Well, that's about all the energy I have for today. So, those of you who are praying people, please do keep me in your prayers, as I am not feeling very well, and I hope that I can feel better. Thank you for your support. Thank you for visiting my website, JayDreamerZ.com, and for signing up to support me and have my back on Patreon, so I can take care of my son and be a dad and stuff, which is really the only reason why I do any of this. So you guys benefit because I like being a dad. Until next time, I'm JayDreamer saying good vibes and goodbye.